been a little scatterbrained lately. I know I've been getting some of my videos up late, and I am really working hard to do everything in a, orderly fashion. A couple things have happened. I've started a completely separate YouTube channel that's not related to Hebrew at all, and so I do find myself spending every moment of my waking life doing something with videos, and so it is putting me a little behind, but I'm working on getting more organized with all of this. The second thing is that my hard drive crashed a couple of weeks ago, and so I did have all of this information about the hey prefix, and then when I went to do the video, I was trying to do everything. I was trying to kind of reconstruct everything from memory, and I knew that there was more, but I just could not remember what it was. And then I remembered, and so here is part 2. And then I know last week I said that this week I would be doing the suffixes. Suffixes are next week. So, in addition to Hey Hayedi'ah, which is the definite article, it just means the, and Hey Hashela, which is the question word hey, we have 2 more uses of the prefix hey. And I don't think they have separate names like Hey Hayedi'ah and Hey Hashela. I think these might both be considered like separate uses of Hey Hayedi'ah. So let's just go through them. The first one is very common, but also very kind of limited in its use. And it means, when you attach it to a time period, it means this. We add the hey prefix to a noun that designates a specific amount of time, like Yom, Boker, Laila, Erev, Shavua, Shana, and it means this particular one, the one that we're in right now. So Yom means day, Hayom means today, as in this day. Boker means morning, HaBoker is this morning. Erev is evening, HaErev is this evening. Laila is night, HaLaila is tonight. Shavua means week, HaShavua means this week. Chodesh means month, HaChodesh means this month. Shana means year, Hashana means this year. Okay, so this is pretty limited in its usage. It can only go on Yom, Boker, Erev, Laila, Shavua, Chodesh, and Shana. I can't think of any other word. There might be one, but I can't think of any other words that you can add the hey prefix and it means this. But just because I can't think of it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. But these are the only ones I've ever heard. And so basically those 6 words. But it's only those 6 words, but they're obviously extremely common words. It's very common to say today or this morning or this week even. All of those words are pretty commonly heard. So if you hear that Hayom, of course most of us learn Hayom, but Hashavua, that might be new to you. It doesn't mean the week. It can mean the week, but it can also mean this week. It depends on the context. The second usage that I missed that I actually remembered while I was, in the final phases of the editing of last week's video is it's a usage that can be somewhat common, but more so in high register Hebrew, and also it's pretty common in hear it a lot in prayers. I think it's pretty common in the Tanakh. And this is when we use hey to, it's almost used exactly like the prefix sheen, the sheen prefix that means that. It's a conjunction. It's a subordinating conjunction. And it's basically when you are using some kind of a clause that is describing a noun. And so instead of using she to mean that, blah, 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 you're going to use ha. And it basically has the same meaning. And we've got a pair of phrases that kind of demonstrate this. So if I want to say last week, I say in Hebrew, I say the week that passed. And so it's going to have a verb in it, right? The verb to pass. And what I say is hashavua she'avar. And that she means that, right? It corresponds to the English word that. It's just introducing a new clause, and in this case, the clause is just a single verb, which is avar, meaning it passed. And so we use she to connect them. Hashavua she'avar. But if we want to talk about next week, we want to say the week that is coming. But we don't use she. We don't say hashavua sheba. Instead, we say hashavua haba. But that ha has the exact same purpose as the she had in hashavua she'avar. Haba, meaning next, is really the only word that uses this use of the hey prefix that I can think of that's in common daily speech. I see it a lot in writing, in particularly in articles that we read in my level 8 Ulpan class. I also can recall hearing it a lot in prayers. So if we think about a prayer that most Jews know very well, Hamotzi, the Motzi. So if we start in the middle, we have Melech HaOlam, King of the Universe. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. What is that ha doing there? Motzi means bringing out or bringing forth. Lechem min haaretz, bread from the earth. So what is that ha doing there? We usually translate it as who brings forth the bread from the earth. Who or that, right? Who and that are pretty much, they serve the same function in English. It's just that we usually use who when it's a person or like a sentient being. So we don't say shemotzi lechem, we say hamotzi lechem. And a lot of our prayers are like that. When I see this usage in writing, I always try to remember that when we have an adjective, when we have a definite noun and it has an adjective with it within the noun phrase, we put the hey hayidiyah also on that adjective. And even though a word like ba or motzi, those are verbs, they're not adjectives, but they are being used, or their entire clause is being used to describe that noun. Which week? The coming week, the one that is coming. Which king? The one who brings forth the bread from the earth. Right? So it's describing a noun that came right before it. And so for that reason, maybe that's why it is appropriate to use the hey hayidiyah there. But this is as I mentioned, it's only common in daily speech with the word ba. I never hear it in daily speech with any other verbs or clauses, but I do see it a lot in fancy writing and high register writing. All right, so that's it for hey prefixes. I am pretty sure that I have covered them all now. Next week will be hey suffixes, and then we will move on to other topics. As always, if you have any questions or feedback, or if you have some issue of grammar that has you flummoxed, please leave it in the comments and I will do my best to get back to you or make a video on the grammar point. Hit like if you enjoyed this video and subscribe and press the notification bell if you want to see more. Lahidrot, Papa Ama Pa'a. See you next time.